I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weirdos in this one.
Like a song, like a sailor snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow.
Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Marty.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today we are going to have a very enlightening, I feel, conversation about the word haunting. Because generally on this show, when we talk about haunting, we're talking about ghosts in the house. But as I was listening to something about hauntings, the word haunting was playing in my head about how differently it affects us in the different ways that the word can be used. Like we can be haunted by a memory. Is that ghosts? Is that time travel? We can be haunted by something's beauty or how ethereal something. And so I thought I want to talk about Maddie, talk about that with Maddie, and let you all listen. So I'm sure this will we get haunted.
So, pop culture wise, just gonna throw this out there. We're talking all about a haunting, and do you know what I'm gonna say? Haunting animal. What I love about it is like, so the title Haunting Adeline specifically, what is he doing? He's watching her from afar. She can't see him. He's haunting her. And the definition of haunting, there's multiple definitions, but one of the definitions of haunting is being not necessarily watched, but being within a range of an unseen force or something like that.
Yes,
That
yes,
goes well.
because I mean, yes, and that's exactly why I want to have this conversation because the word haunted can mean so much, so many, but the word haunted means so many different things, and they can overlap. Like being haunted by a memory, right? How are we haunted by a memory? It's something that it plays over in our head. It haunts us. We have these ghosts of the past that come about and cause us disquiet, right? And how is that very much different than being in a house where ghosts of the past are causing you disquiet by interrupting your peace, right? And that's actually like that was the thought process that made me go, I would like to do this as an episode because it's different, but isn't because you know there's that meme, right? So like still on that pop culture realm, there's that meme that says, it's a somebody says to a witch, I'm missing this person. Can you bring them back from the dead? And they're like, no, come sit, drink tea with me. Tell me about them. And then it's like, oh, will that bring them back? No, but the memories keep them alive, And so if you're haunted by a memory, then the ghosts of that memory that haunt you thinking about them is keeping that moment alive. Just like when a ghost can't move on from this realm, it stays and acts alive in the house. That's what haunting is, right? When those things happen, right?
I wish I had looked up the definition of ghost as well as haunting because you say that and that makes me say, well, what makes a ghost? We think of ghost and we automatically think of someone who has passed on who cannot leave. But you mentioned memories, and there's also on that haunting Adeline type vibe. There's also people who are very quiet. Maybe they're watching from afar, not necessarily stalking, but like a wallflower. Yeah.
You think of them, they're invisible.
Right, like a wallflower, or oh shit, this person is always sneaking up on me.
That guy in A. Arnold.
Yeah. Fuck, I love that.
Well, and I had covered the definition of ghost for Amber is the colors which you wear on Wednesday.
Okay.
And the definition of ghost is like a spirit or a specter of something. Basically, it is the spirit of something that was once living.
Okay. Which could be a memory,
Exactly.
like you said.
Right.
So that's
And
not
that's why
necessarily like stalker or somebody
Right.
from afar or a wallflower or something quiet. because they are.
Right. Well, and not just that, but like in that instance, right?
Mhm.
That person, are they a ghost or are they more of a shadow? Because they're following you, behind you, you know, like in the like continuing with the haunting Adeline, he's more like a shadow than a ghost, right?
Right.
Because he's always there,
Right. And-
watching and being there. And what is a shadow? If not an image, actually it's kind of a reflection of ourselves and our surroundings that is right there outside of the light or created by the light. True, the shadow is created by the light because you can't have a shadow without light.
Oh, that brings me to Peter Pan. I know. It's quite a bit in pop culture, which is not surprising.
No, not at all.
Because we've always been haunted by the aspects of hauntings. I mean, for centuries, since the beginning of time, really. But you say ghost being a reflection of what was once alive or something like that. You could say something like the ghost of who I once was. You know, so maybe that person is still alive, but who they used to be or is not anymore. So that's
Right.
more
And I
metaphorical.
right. And I think it goes really well with this time of year because we're still in spooky season, guys. And
Hell
we're
yeah,
bringing
we
you
are.
a dark Christmas.
It's
And right.
first
Christmas
Christmas. Did you
Carol.
already start reading that?
I haven't read it yet because I want to finish. We're giving you guys sneak peeks of what's coming. I haven't finished writing it. So I finished writing it, which I'm about halfway through. I'm not going to start reading.
I need to, right? It's very short. I haven't started yet. I've been waiting until after Thanksgiving. It's December 1st. So I'm like, yes, I did watch The Muppets with my children. And while it is quite frightening, it is my favorite. My second. No, it's my favorite adaptation. Just because of the nostalgia that comes with it.
Scrooge. No, sorry. That is my Christmas Carol. It is. Oh my God. The ghost of Christmas future is terrifying. And it's on
always
TV because it's a TV executive. And it has Carol Kane as the ghost of Christmas present.
I love The Ghost of Christmas Past is always my favorite. Always in every adaptation. It's it is terrifying.
Well, it is terrifying, but also I just made him Scrooge.
Oh, yeah.
He's a cabbie who is a New York cabbie. And it's a terrifying ride for him.
I need to watch that one. When I think of Scrooge, I get it confused with Groundhog's Day sometimes, which makes no fucking sense.
Well,
because- yeah,
It's the same Bill Murray.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not the same year, I don't think, but it's like within a 5-year range of each other,
Right.
probably.
And I mean, it's not similar, but it's paranormal or not.
It's that life lesson of living a day over and over again, right? Which, you know, that's a theme in a bunch of Christmas movies, which is not what this is about. But I think haunted by your past and by your mistakes in those both Groundhog Day and like the
Well,
fun
it's haunted by the present because if you're repeating the same day over and over again, it's really the present. So
well,
it's like
but the
ghost-
thing, I'm sorry, go ahead.
the ghost of Christmas present.
Well, but it's also like, you know, especially in like, I'm gonna use the Christmas version of Groundhog's Day because it's actually pretty cute. It's called the 12 Days of Christmas. There's actually 2 of them.
Wait,
one
what?
is
Yeah.
called
No.
Eight Crazy Nights.
Yeah.
I watched for the first time last.
I have not seen it. It's a good. So it's not just like some stupid comedy.
No,
like
like
it's
it's
an
an
actual
actual
holiday.
holiday. There's lessons to learn about being a better person.
Okay, I will have to watch it.
I love that movie. It's so good. But 12 Days of Christmas and the 12 Days of Christmas are 2 separate movies, but basically the exact same plot, different cast, different scenarios, I'm sure. I've only seen the Jay Moore version, but this guy, he's living the same day over and over again, but he's having to fix all these mistakes that were made in the past, like with his ex-wife and things like this, you know what I mean? And until he fixes all the different relationship things, right? He never gets to. And honestly, in Groundhog's Day, we have the same lessons. With we have to fix all of the different past things, right? He doesn't just do the stuff right down. It's the guy on the street and this guy and this guy and this one and the girl in the diner, and all of it comes together to make him a better person.
The
Sorry.
the Daffy, not Daffy. The Duck, the nephews.
Joey, Dewey, and Louie.
So there's a is it Daffy? No, Donald. They're so different, but I,
No, they're both.
right. But anyway, Donald.
I'm sorry. Nathan Donald.
Have his cousins or his nephews for Christmas. They fuck up Christmas and then they have to restart it and restart it and restart it. So similar thing. So
Is that a newer one?
or the early 2000s. So it's not like older, like 80s or something like that, but it's definitely 90s or 2000s. My kids watch it in 12 days for Christmas.
Yeah,
Like,
and I just,
so crazy.
yeah, I'm amazed at how timely this conversation is, and I wasn't even thinking about it in terms of these little pieces of pop culture or just learning in general, right? Because it's a spiral. We keep going through the same things over and over again until we learn our lessons. you know?
Speaking of
And
spiral,
then we learn more lessons. We keep going through the same shit.
yeah, fuck that. Speaking of spiral, did you love that picture I sent you of the wheels making that fucking spiral?
Oh, that was
motion? That was gorgeous. Magic.
I mean,
Look
but it's math too. It's science and it's math because that's like the mathematical perfection for beauty, whatever that like seashell shaped thing is.
Oh,
It's like the whatever. It's like the epitome of beauty. If your face aligns with it, makes you beautiful.
this is so off topic, but I recently watched The Hangover. They're haunted by their past. They just don't
They
know
are. They
what
just don't
the
know.
fuck.
They're haunted by the unknown, which
Right.
is also haunted. You know, like I mean, that's the thing about the word haunting, and that's why I want to have this whole conversation because it means so much more than ghosts in your house.
Right. It does. It
But
really
it also, I would also like to talk about where we think that the ghost in your house is. But this part is the more fun part of the conversation, I think, in my opinion.
It's really part of the conversation
Well,
before we
but
get to
it's
this.
also the human part of the conversation, right? Because like when we move on, yeah, we'll be talking about humans that are dead.
Right.
But like this part is those of us that are here have to live and deal with the things, right? Because like they often say when somebody passes away, they talk about like it's the living who suffer more, right? And in this discussion, it is the living who suffer more.
It really is.
We're
like
suffering with our past, our futures, our unknown.
the unknown.
Like in the hangover.
The unknown truly haunts me in a different way than The Hangover, but I'll talk about The Hangover and then I'll get into the other thing. But it's fucking hilarious. I forgot how hilarious it was. I love Zach Galifianakis. I can't remember if you said you didn't like him or what, but
Awkward comedy makes me nauseous.
it's the exact same way. Cannot take secondhand embarrassment comedy. It is my favorite. When some
I'll be enjoying something and then it turns to awkward comedy. And I'm like,
Michael Cera,
I love him. And I know he's awkward comedy. So, you know, like Arrested Development. Oh, I love that.
dude, I love the
I think therapy commercial. That person was a genius putting Michael Cera in the therapy commercial.
oh yeah.
The solution, like that was cheap.
I I think sometimes I have some awkward comedy. I think it's hilarious. I don't think everybody does. Like I feel like the Santa Claus thing that I sent you. I thought that was hilarious, and everybody was dead silent. Or when I had my first ultrasound with my son Theodore, my first son, and there was a heartbeat, and I was like, "It's a heart." Nobody fucking laughed. That's so. My husband didn't say anything. I was like, "That is my birthday."
Dinosaurs are just like, that's too cringy. I'm not giving you that laugh. Like, he didn't give me that laugh. And he's like, no, you shouldn't have gone for that. Bitch, it's funny. And now it's funny. And I laughed when you told me back then, and I'm still laughing.
It's like a Potato Patana video, and nobody laughs, and he's just like, I love it. My favorite type of comedy. But anyway, for Zach Galifianakis, I love him so much. He reminds me very much of an old mutual friend that we used to have.
Well, let's see. Comedic moments I make. Those are the things that haunt me.
Jeez.
Like,
Seriously.
it sounded funny in my head.
And it wasn't. Okay. Not haunting to keep you up in fucking night. But as for the haunting of the unknown, not in otherwise, but myself, I know that it's a very common fear, and one of those things, again, a very common fear, is the fear of death or what happens after death. It's a very haunting feeling because it's a bittersweet haunting, I would say, because there's no avoiding it. It's sad, but dying is not supposed to be sad.
Right.
It's definitely true. Exactly. And we all have our own beliefs of what happens after you pass away, but no one truly knows. But I feel like I truly know. But then so do Christians. They feel like they truly know. So it's
Still
like
so jealous of that.
I am too. I am so jealous.
Sometimes I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the show, but I say to Maddie sometimes, like I miss having the beliefs that were handed to me growing up. I miss that because I no longer believe in it, but it was a fuzzy, warm blanket to wrap myself in. Like I didn't question it. I fully believed.
There was no fear of the
There
unknown.
was no fear of the unknown because it was all presented to me wrapped up in a box.
Well, I
I
think
think a ribbon.
that's why so many people latch onto that because they are afraid of the unknown.
And we are not going to offend our Christian listeners.
All sorts of large.
This is just, this is just the talking. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This does pertain to all of it.
My husband, who is an atheist, would argue that it pertains to all religions. The fear of the unknown and what happens after death is why religions are a thing in the first place. I disagree. I won't get into that, but
Well,
I
me, the science sucker, would say it's just a human thing because give me a person who does not have a fear about the unknown in some way, whether it's death or something to do with life. You know what I mean? Because the people who don't fear death or don't care about death, in my experience, they're very wrapped up in the material world, right? So they may not fear the unknown of death, but they fear the unknown of what will happen the next quarter when their numbers are going poorly, or they fear what will happen when they've, overspent and now they have all this and they don't want to lose what they've bought. You know, the fear of the unknown can haunt us in more ways than just death. You know what I mean?
and it is
And I
very
think it's very human. Yeah,
It's the best way to describe it because it's
it's in the
basic.
dark parts. It's
Yeah.
back there always.
Always, there is no avoiding it. And this isn't a topic of death, it kind of is because we're talking
Right,
about
yeah,
haunting.
I'm just saying, like, I agree exactly with what you're saying, and I just add to it that everybody has some fear of the unknown, even if they don't want to say it a lot. You know, even if they're not afraid of it, they have no problem. Because, like, my husband is so, he's just like, he views us like ants. It's like we're all gonna die. We're just here to work, and we're gonna die. And I'm like, that is the sickest shit. I can't believe that. That's depressing.
Well, and the fear of death or the haunting fear of death or the haunting fear of the unknown, it's not exactly one that you can just get rid of because
Until you know that fear exists in you, or until you find a way to cope with it.
right,
Just like really,
like you said, like coping,
or
I think death is coming for us, whether we like it or not.
I mean, until I die, we do not know that I'm not. Okay. We fucking want to. There's actually a study that I refuse to actually read because I need to just hold on to my own beliefs because of the things that I don't want to. This is gonna sound crazy. If I fully speak out what my beliefs are, then I don't know that they will come to fruition. But if I just hold on to my beliefs, they are.
But it's
Exactly.
not like a Catholic saint to die, is it?
No. So there was actually there was an article that like I didn't read the whole thing, but I was like, that just furthers my own belief in until I die, you don't know that I'm immortal. But it basically said like, if you don't believe that you're gonna die, who's to say you will? And I wholeheartedly. And if you think I'm crazy, no, I mean, I'm sorry, but this doesn't line with my beliefs.
No, it's very comforting. I like that. Maybe I'll take that. Cause like,
I truly like, I don't even say like when my parents, I say if my parents die, because that's what I try. Like,
when the stick eyes, there's a vampire listening. Like, please reach out to me because like I want to be immortal. Like, I want to be a vampire so bad. Like so bad. Like, oh, you have a family. Oh, you're married. You're married. That's like that's cool. But like, I see this.
yeah,
Like I
vampire
see
is fucking vampire.
like I'm so sorry, but like it's like when I told my husband I had a dream that I was like a vampire turned me immortal, and he was like, "It's okay. This has been your dream since like middle school." We can be a vampire, and I found a way to make it work because like I came around after dark. I saw my kids after dark. I saw my husband after. She's like, I would.
You think vampires are people?
No, we can make it work.
If we can get Thurlow High School, we can make this.
Make this work. I relationships all the time. But it's not too
Fucking
yeah.
the guy that made villains. Oh, I stopped after the season with was it season 2 or 3. After like the orgies and the eating the flesh and all that.
That was the second season, not my favorite.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because it was so there were so many inaccuracies that really bothered me. But like
I mean, I saw a lot of, I understood where they're going with a lot of it because, yeah, I mean, blood rituals, I mean, the Mayday,
yeah.
they definitely were sent to rip people alive, rip people apart alive and eat them. So, like,
The orgy scenes were pretty cool.
did not.
No.
No.
You know what I thought?
His name is, but
Sam.
not Sam. No. The guy that he.
I do like Jessica. Jessica's my favorite thing.
Oh, she's a sweetie. But she's, that's why you don't make teenage vampires because she is a moody little bitch.
I think she's
Like she's been that guy's mom. Like she could have. She's a bitch of mom. She's a yeah, but she don't go after these mamas. Like that's I mean, you're the mother of sons. Like you have to know that, right? Like you don't go after the dude's mom. Like that's just how it goes, especially in the South. Like you don't mess with the Southern man's mother. I mean, it doesn't matter how awful she is.
But I love I thought it was weird. Sam and what's her Tara. That was
I hated it and then I didn't. And then I was mad that it didn't happen.
really.
Yeah.
You know what? In the books, it's through a first person. So Snooki isn't even in Bonton. She's in Dallas.
Right.
So everything that happens in the show in Bonton was and because in the books they come back and they're like, holy shit, what is this mess? You
Right.
know what I mean?
Well, and I like it. No, I'm sad that they couldn't let her save eggs and then she had eggs as her partner. It's like, I felt like they really cared about each other. Now, it could have been all what's her face's magic. It doesn't matter. We're not calling shit. You guys saw this show like a long time ago.
Yeah, I just started watching.
Yeah, something like that. Because, I mean, yeah.
Which is almost. Yeah. But
That's almost 20 years ago. No, it's 2024. It came out in 08. 4 more years makes it 20. Yeah, that's how I feel when people call it the 1900s.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was just, no, you're
Just not, I'm not lying. I know, but also you think this is a hotter guy than Bill?
Yeah.
Bill, you gave us that story on screen and you gave us as that. And his name was Bill. Vampire Bill. I do like when they all find it.
Yeah,
I do love that joke. Like, this is Vampire Bill. Like,
That's more vamp.
but Eric is really unvampable, but at the same time,
Yeah, Eric's your Viking name. So
I
like,
just,
do you like Pam?
I
I love Pam so much. She's so good.
but yeah, I haven't taken it. Like my
Okay, so
they were like, what the fuck are you watching?
what about your church?
My youngest daughter kept walking in the room and looking at the screen, and I'd be like, don't look at the screen. Oh my God, don't look at me. Oh my God.
Did you like the Church of the Sun? What is it? called?
That fucking preacher's wife was the psychoticest bitch.
He's fucking hilarious.
Okay, I do not love the preacher at all.
Can I?
They're awful. But his wife, like, I don't- that was my biggest takeaway. The preacher's like funny in some of the things he says, but as a character, he likes. Okay. I
He's
never
gay.
ever did that in a while.
He's-
Oh,
And he's in love with Jason.
oh, they're both in love with Jason. They're like, I feel like the preacher and his wife want like a threesome with this man.
Like, he gets turned into. And so that's they out to Jason, and like he's got Jason like tied, and like he's like, oh my God, let me go. And he's like, no, how American thing.
Against everything he once believed in. That still in America. Proud to be an American.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is like great. I love the karma that comes with it. Like it's I love him. He's such a horrible person. A bad guy. And not a sexy bad guy per se, but I just like a good, you know, and I feel like
Eric's
oh, but the next season is when they introduce the guy that plays Liz Taylor. He's the baddie in season 3. Yeah, he's got like he's a vampire that has managed to get himself a pack of werewolves.
yeah, started season 3. I can't remember.
He like gets them addicted to the werewolves, so they'll do anything if he gets them beat. So he's a vampire that has his own like pack of werewolves. Elsie is about to be introduced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, it's Christmas, so I'm definitely not getting back into it.
No,
right now, you know. Exactly. Yeah. It's like last month I was all about Thanksgiving movies. I meant to watch Black Friday on Friday. Forgot. It's like a horror comedy about like I think zombies overrunning a Black Friday thing. Maybe Corey will watch this because he wasn't here for Black Friday. But I've been marking all these funny ass looking Christmas movies that I think people need to watch with me. And then I've been watching Christmas romances, which haunts me. I like them. That's
Yeah,
fucking
I
weird.
do like them. There's
I've never liked them. This is the first year that I'm like, Christmas romance. I mean, unless you call Christmas is a Christmas romance, which I don't.
oh my, like
Yeah, see, I've been watching that, and it's weird for me.
there's a book series that I really want to read that's very comforting, and it's like one of them is like pumpkin lattes or something, and then the other one is like Christmas.
Yeah, this is not who I am. Like my friend Casey and I talked about how she loves Hallmark movies, and I'm like, no, I'll watch Krampus. You know, I will watch Krampus as a Hallmark movie any day. And yet, here I am, December 1st, and I've watched like a half a dozen Christmas movies, and like I think they've all been Christmas romances.
Here it is.
Very hallmarky. Oh, the Christmas tree
The
farm.
Christmas Tree Farm, and from what I understand, it's a spicy Christmas romance, which I do want to read. And she has a whole, she also wrote, it's like, again, it's like a pumpkin one. Oh, the Pumpkin Spice Cat, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, and the Gingerbread Bakery is coming out this year. Oh my God.
Every time you say cat, I think of a little cat.
Say something, but
I was so confused for 30 seconds, and then I was like, these are all the restaurants.
this one's called How My Neighbor Stole Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Every Pringle in Pringle Town celebrated Christmas a lot, but Coal Black on Whistler Lane unfortunately did not.
So I did okay. I recommend guys single all the way. Yes, it's about this dude, and like he tells his family that he's bringing a partner home to meet them at the holidays,
Oh,
and then he finds out the guy is actually not gay and married to a woman. And so he brings his roommate home with him, and it's this whole cute ass movie. It's so good. The dude's nieces are like, you need to be a roommate. And that's their whole thing, the whole movie. It's so fucking cute. I loved it
I think
so
I just
much.
saw I'm taking one on Kindle Unlimited. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah. It's really, really fucking cute. A Castle for Christmas has Carrie Elwes and the girl from Blue Lagoon. Except they're, like in their 60s, 50s. Sorry, I overaged you guys. But that was cute. It's haunting me, guys. It haunts me that I have been watching so many Christmas films.
Well, it fucking haunts me that this book is $1.99 on Kindle instead of free.
Oh, I guess before we wrap it up,
We
we
should
could talk about haunting
Yeah.
ghosts,
With
right?
ghosts, yeah. So, my personal definition of a haunting when it comes to spirits, and this is just me, is I am actually thinking about it right now because when I hear a haunting, I think sorrow. I don't even necessarily think poltergeist. To me, that's a type of haunting on its own. But haunting to me is like the woman just because I grew up. Well,
And see, this is why I wanted to have the conversation because, like, I think I typically, when I use the term for haunting or when I just think about it without thinking about it, I think a haunted location.
a ghost.
But what does that mean? Yes, exactly. Like, a poltergeist is a kind of haunting. It's a specific kind of
right.
And then there's a haunted house where, like, you have the ghost of the lady who originally built it and she died there and she's never left, like traditional haunting. But then there's like a timing where something keeps popping up, like Civil War places where you see that live back into the past of this is them in the moment, right? But that's a haunted space as well.
Well, this is gonna sound stupid, and I realize that. But in my head, that's the difference between haunted and haunting. Like to me, haunted doesn't have that same sorrowful vibe as haunting. And maybe that's again, I like
I think
to-
that's a good thing.
That's a huge
because,
thing. Yeah, that's
because,
like-
I mean, it's the same word, just one's present tense, one's past.
I know. That's
Because-
what it sounds so stupid when I say it, but I think it's like a
Mhm.
because when I'm like, oh, that house. Okay. Oh, there's a haunting.
And that's why I wanted to have the conversation so that everybody, including ourselves, can open up their minds thinking about these things because a haunted person is someone who is haunted by their past, haunted by an incident.
Or
A
spirit.
place
Yeah.
is haunted by a spirit or an action that happened there. a scenario that overplays with a haunted person. Goes through those same scenarios over and over again. And truly, like a haunting doesn't necessarily mean it's a spirit, but it can be a spirit. But it is the replaying of this particular energy over and over. And it's kind of something that I think we all have our own little in a bubble definitions for what we think of. But it really permeates a wider bubble, I guess is the way I'm now seeing it when I thought about the different ways we use the same word. Because again, like you brought up before we started recording, something can be hauntingly beautiful. It's not even bad. It's just so beautiful. It makes us ache. We can be haunted by a moment that's so painful. It makes us ache. Or so beautiful that we want to hold on to it forever. But is that still haunted? If it's so
It makes
it's haunted beautiful holding it.
I wonder if this is one of those words that has different definitions. Like, well, obviously we know it is, but like different meanings. So for example, I'm trying to think, okay, Taylor, look, you wrote down. Taylor is a girl's name, a boy's name. It's also a job or a career. It's also what someone does to a jacket. You know what I mean? Like it's one word, but it has so many different meanings.
In general, we think of that word inside a little box. And so, like, my goal with this whole conversation is just to open that box for everybody
Right.
so that it can flourish and we can see it as something more than what we originally did, because it means a lot of different things. And at the same time, all has that base core kernel of the same thing. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense.
It's like, it's this really interesting thought process
No,
that
you-
like, there's no answer to, right? And there's no need to change anybody's mind, but also know that there's so much more to think about in that little bubble.
I'm pretty proud of myself for using Taylor as an example because I really like want to be only like because I know there are so many words, but I'm like, what the fuck can I use? And it's like, okay, Taylor, that makes sense. But like, I feel like there's more. Like, I guess you could say,
I mean, spirits, I mean, there's a ghost, spirits means a ghost.
right,
Spirits means a drink.
Right.
Spirits means
like home. Home is different to everyone. Home could be a house. Home could be a person. Home could be a town. Home could be, it may not even be a location. It could be a feeling. You feel like, you know what I mean? So I think that haunting is definitely, or haunted, haunt, whatever. I think it's in there.
Yeah.
So thank you, Amber, for suggesting this episode to broaden our thoughts on the topic.
Yeah, because I know I'm the first one to be like, this is the definition. But there are some things where this is the definition, and so is this, and so is this, and so is this, and they all like T. T is one.
Yeah.
T can be an action. T, but apparently, like I looked at the definition of T for One White Witch Wednesday, because a Tsane and a T are similar but not the same, but they are.
He is a
very
letter.
T is a letter, but I mean, I'm talking about the word T-E-A, T. Like, yeah, like the word T-E-A.
In Michael Sierra.
But I was surprised and shocked by the amount of definitions for the word tea, including some having that were like basically a verb. Like, I don't think of tea as a verb, you know.
I guess like tea is it like a sport? Like you're doing like a sport thing, or is that a tea with just tea? Like we're about to get it
tea
all.
ball. Oh, that's T-E-E.
Oh,
Yeah. So, but still, the word T-E-A. You know, it has so many different definitions. It means so many more things than one would ever think of. But we put these things in boxes and we keep them in the box that we put them in. And I just think it's very important for us to expand our thinking as a collective. because the more you know. And that's all I can do.
I think that's a great way to end it. So if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check us out on Threads, on Facebook and Instagram at Witches Talking Today.
Don't forget to find us on X at Classiest Witches, because we are the Classiest Witches, you know, although we've been fairly inactive on all of those. So my bad, guys. I'll get better, maybe after the holidays, maybe during the holidays.
Honestly, we're gonna be taking like, we're talking to Peppermint and Luca episode. I'm sure we'll be taking pictures of those.
Really delicious.
Yes.
But big shout outs to DVD,
Melissa
Victoria.
and
We appreciate y'all. If you want your very own spiffy shout out and other fun stuff, you can find us on patreon.com/witches and support us there.
thanks for
Thanks.
sticking with us for a spell.
Bye.